Welcome to the No Love Podcast, where we decrease tomorrow's divorce rate today by teaching singles and couples alike how to experience love on purpose and not by chance. I am your host, Edward L. Fairley, accompanied by my wonderful, lovely co-host, Michelle Larkin. Michelle, say hi to the people.
What's up? Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday.
You know how we do. What you got going on? What's up?
I got blessings. That's my sound. Blessings upon blessings upon blessing in the midst of.
In the midst.
Yeah.
In the midst.
I say that because I have a job and a half, 3 children, 2 volunteer opportunities. Like I'm on 2 boards, and all of them are demanding and attention. Occasionally, there's personal crisis, and so it's kind of like, how am I doing? Which ball are we talking about? And I say that, and here's why I say I'm blessed, because you know what? They're still all in the air. None of them have hit the floor. So I'm a little overwhelmed, but I'm blessed in the midst.
Got it. That's valid. Question, because I'm seeing this going back and forth as we speak. Is there any way that you can make the screen to where both of us are showing at the same time?
Try that.
I'm going to find out in a moment.
We'll find out in a moment.
Tried that and you did that. I mean, the fact that you're doing that, the whole, making sure that you pretty much tell yourself how blessed you are, oftentimes means you got stuff going on. Anything you want to talk about, or we're gonna put
I'm excited because I got a lot going on in the midst of a pandemic, and I was even talking to my son today about how the dark days. I remember when I didn't have anything going on, and I remember when I was anxious and angry and frustrated and uncertain. And so to be sitting here in the midst of a pandemic, and I literally can work until 9 o'clock at night and still not be done, and still be able to give back. I can't tell you, I've had 3 or 4 conversations with people to encourage them this week. Those are my gems in the middle of the week that rejuvenate me. And, because it's not about, it's about the work of being ready to do the work of helping somebody. And those moments have been the lighthouses. And I'm just really grateful that I had something to say. I had a testimony. I didn't have, oh girl, you should, oh my, yeah, I didn't have any of that even in me. And part of this, I will say, goes back to a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you, I was like, in my own love journey, I'm now trying to tap in, figure out, experience, be open to what does love look like when it's given and received. What's that thing, And so I'm just really grateful to have come to those people who are having crisis, and I mean crisis that you feel after the conversation, like, ow. Like, ow. I felt that. When I was encouraging them, I felt that. Like, some of them, I wasn't even like, yeah, girl, you can make it. I was like, that hurt. That hurt, and that hurt. But God got you.
Got it.
And that's where I feel blessed, because I'm like, but I can say that because I know that.
Well, it sounds like today's show is going to be necessary then. The show is called Getting Through a Storm. Getting Through a Storm. What is a storm? A storm could be anything. A storm could be something that you did that probably was not too intelligent at the moment, which landed you in the predicament that you're at that moment in. Storm could be something that someone else did to you that caused you to be in the predicament that you're in. A storm could be a pandemic, just an actual life happenstance that you're in. And the whole show today is to discuss how to get through a storm. So the simple answer to how to get through a storm is to let it rain. Um, Now, I'm saying that in a simplistic form, not to mention you have no choice but to let it rain when it comes to a storm. But that's also the acronym that I'll be breaking down today is RAIN. So if you are taking notes and you want to um, uh, define what RAIN is, we are going to be breaking that down today. So that's what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about how to get through the storm. And again, the simplest form is to let it rain. And that is basically what the acronym that we'll be teaching from to assist in us getting through our storms by allowing it or letting it rain. So we started off late, so I'm gonna dive in. So hopefully this will be a short show so that we can get you all off as close to your regularly scheduled time frame. Yeah. With it being 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes from that actual time, it's really not going to happen. But I can try. I could possibly.
You can watch it at a later time. If this is getting, if it's too late, just come back and watch it tomorrow.
Yeah, most certainly.
Watch it tomorrow.
Yeah. So let's dive in. So the first letter of RAIN, of course, is the R, and the R stands for realize. So first, in order to get through a storm, you have to first realize. Realize what, you might ask? Realize what state of mind you're in. You have to realize, like you have to come to terms, and this is so difficult. It's simple, but it's so difficult, and the reason why is because oftentimes we're not in tune with our emotions, or we try to suppress our emotions or hide them or discard them. And if you don't know where you are, you can't get to where you want to be. So if you're denying an actual emotion or a state of mind that you're in, then you're never going to get to a different state of mind at all. So first you need to realize it. It kind of it prompts me to this past Sunday, I came home from the grocery store and I just happened to see my youngest son in our bedroom sleep. This dude doesn't take naps willingly, just at random. So he's knocked out, and my wife came into the kitchen to start breaking down the groceries and wiping them down with the bleach like she does when I get home from the grocery store. And I said, what happened to him? What made him so sleepy where he ended up in our room sleep? And my wife said, well, he was asked by Naja to do him a favor. When she asked him to do a favor, he replied, that's not my job. My daughter replied to him, okay, that's fine. Just be mindful when you need something. My reply will be, that's not my job. So basically that set him off. That led him to our bedroom, where he went into the room, and my wife, I guess she saw his countenance was low and she asked him what was wrong, to where he told her that, you know what, I don't like when Naja says the same thing that I say. And my wife was like, oh, okay. So then he gave her the backstory on how she said, he said what he said to her, and he didn't like that she said it back to him. And then then he went into how his remote control wasn't working right in his TV. So I guess he just had a buildup
going on. Going on. She didn't understand what he was dealing with.
In a meltdown to where my wife said, so his sister frustrated him to a nap. So he ended up going to sleep. So I said, oh, okay. And as time had lapsed, I ended up seeing my daughter, and I asked her, I said, okay, so what you told your brother, I said, was that something you just said to him just to see if you get a response, or is that going to be a follow through? And she was like, I haven't really come to a conclusion about that yet. I said, that's fair. And then I said, well, just remember, we've had conversations similar to this. So be mindful that if you do follow through what you said, he has changed you from your core being, and you're not being yourself. You're allowing the external thing to dictate who you are. And she said, this is true. And she said, more than likely it'll be just something that I said, but that's how I felt at that moment. Cool. Why did I share this story? Well, one, we're talking about a 7-year-old and a 13-year-old who clearly can identify with their feelings and their frustrations at their particular moments. And the whole point of the first point is to realize, but you have to first realize it, whether it be you're angry, you have to realize whether you're sad, whether you are frustrated, whether you are in love, whether you are feeling hatred, envious, jealousy, whatever you want to call it, you need to realize what it is and what mental or mind state you're in. That is the first start. That's the foundation of allowing it to rain to get through an actual storm. Okay. The second one, we're actually not doing well, bad with time, is the A, which is allow. Allow what? This is another thing that's difficult for people. Allow the situation and or the person to be who they are or how it is. Say that again. Allow the situation and or the person to be who they are or how it is. We get into this thing where we want to hope and wish a person past who they actually are, or what it is that they're actually doing for multiple reasons. One, we want better for them sometimes, or we don't want to come to grips with the realization of what type of person we're dealing with. I was talking to my daughter about something several weeks ago, and she was basically asking me some stuff to where at the end of the conversation I said, oh, so you want to use me? And she looked like I don't she just looked confused. She didn't know how to maneuver or what have you. And so I was like, so you want to use me? And I guess she couldn't find a different way to say it or what have you. But in the end, she said, well, like,
yeah,
I guess I do want to use you. And I said, good. I'm glad. I'm proud of you. Said the only way that you can use me is if I'm useful. Said, see, the problem with people is, I said, and this is how I would prefer for you to go through life. You should always be going through life looking for people that are useful to use. And if people are in your life that aren't useful for you to use, then you are picking people incorrectly. So don't get caught up in how that sounds and how the culture of the world has taught you, oh, you're just using me or whatever. Like if you can't be used, you're not useful. So the only way that you can be used is if you're useful. And if you are not choosing with the intent of utilizing a person, if they're not useful, so to speak, then for lack of a better term, they're useless in your life. And that is not what you should be attracting or picking. And nor should you be someone that is useless to where you don't have anything to offer. So you should be intentionally growing to a place of being useful so that you can be used. And if you're not, then you're useless. And that's what in. So it was a teachable moment intentionally. And I was glad to have that because, again, we try to shy away from calling things what they are. Like, yo, you're using me. You want it. You're talking about, oh, I want you to come to this event or whatever. You'll enjoy it, whatever. But then I end up being on the flyer of the event. You used me to attract whatever kind of viewers or whatever. And I'm okay with that. As long as I get to use you in the process of this, whereas I get to record this, use it as a marketing tool or something later, I'm really okay with that because I don't have a problem with words in the definition of what they actually are. As long as you can be honest with me, we'll be fine. But again, ultimately, allow the situation to be what it is ultimately what I'm trying to say. So if she's using me, okay, that's fine. Let's move forward and know everything that's on the table, and that's how we're going to maneuver. But a lot of times we don't call things what they are. We try to use quote unquote politically correctness or tact and try to soften the blow. But we need to accept that he or she might be a liar. He or she might be a cheater. You might be at the moment a liar. You at the moment might be a cheater, and call it what it is. Allow it to be what it is. Identify it what it is so that you can maneuver. But at the same token, don't try. The biggest allowing is not changing, nor is it what's the word I'm looking for? Allowing is not condoning or being at a place where you are allowing that type of circumstance or person to be that person. Yeah, it's tolerant. That's what I meant. Yeah, there you go. Allowing is not tolerating. I don't want you to make that something that you feel is interchangeable. Allowing is basically identifying what something is, calling it what it is, so that you can maneuver accordingly, as opposed to trying to or being in denial about what the circumstance is, and trying to hope that this is going to change or better for some strange reason.
You say that, I hear step out of your expectations, step outside of your expectations of what it should be, and let it be what it is. Or release your control over the situation so that you can acknowledge what it is and lean in versus stepping back. So allowing is a lot of self-control and self-awareness is required to do that. But to your point, if R.A.i.N is realized, that means I got to stop for a second. Like I got to stop, realize, recognize, see, be here for a second. Don't just let it wash over you and just get dragged away by the current of the situation. It's, ooh, this situation is happening.
Most certainly, it's being present, which 9 times out of 10, people are not present because they're literally trying to go to a place that's non-existent. And what I mean by that is people are either in the past or they're stressing or in anxiety about the future, none of which you could ever meet. You will never be in any of those two places ever. When you wake, there's no such thing as a tomorrow that you'll ever meet, because every time you wake up, it's today. You cannot go backward. You'll never be able to get into the past. So these are two places that people are either trying to live their glory days through. You see them, they can't get current at all. They're stuck in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s.
It should be. It used to be.
Yeah, the good old days.
So like this, I used to do this. You can't. Yeah. I bet no girl used to go.
No one's here. No one is at this moment right now and seeing it for what it is. And that's oftentimes where, again, we're either in the past or the present. In the past, he was nice to me. Well, he hit you today.
So let's be here. Right.
He hit you today. In the past, she did whatever. Well, today, something's different. Either today she became who she is and stopped acting, or something has happened to change her today. Let's talk about today. What's going on today? How are we gonna respond to today's circumstance? And again, allowing it to be what it is. So we have to realize what happened, whether it be our contribution, life's contribution, another person's contribution, and what is our mental state, and how do we feel about this predicament right now? Where's our mindset? We have to realize what our mindset is. Am I angry right now? Am I frustrated? Am I sad? Am I happy? Then we have to allow what it is that he or she did to be what it is. Okay, you lied to me. Okay, you cheated on me. Okay, you yelled at me. Okay, you hit me. Okay, you whatever that is, whatever you did. Okay, I
You
slipped
let
up.
me down today. You
Yeah,
disappointed me.
exactly. Miss Lisa said being aware, exactly. Being in the now, being present right now, not hoping that he doesn't do it again later, not reflecting on what he did in the past, not reflecting on what she did in the past, not hoping that she becomes this wonderful woman or he becomes this wonderful man. What is going on right now? How do you feel right now? And this will get rid of a lot of future future storms if we just deal with this right now, because a lot of people get married in hopes that they're going to become something that they're not right now. How are you feeling right now about your current relationship status to where you're about to do a long-term wedding and investment in a, how are you feeling right now? What is your right now moment?
What if right now continued?
Exactly. There you go. That's
right
good.
Now
That's good.
was
That's
continued.
good.
Could you be here?
That's good. So we got R, realize. We got A, allow it to be what it is. Be honest with yourself about what it is. Whether it's you, why do I keep slipping up? Why do I keep cheating? What is wrong with me? Which is why we go into the I. Inspect. What are we expecting? Inspect your emotional state and ask questions. Why did that emotion come up? Why, when he or she did that cause me to be angry? Why, when she said that, is when I went off? What is it about what she just said or did that made me go off? Where did that come from? What made that funny? You ever laugh at somebody and people looking like, yeah, why? That's not funny. Like, what made that funny to exactly. What made that funny? What made that not funny? Why is that making you angry? When everybody's laughing, why did that bother you? Where did that come from? What is the rooted contribution of that particular emotion? And you inspect and you keep asking why until you get to the root of it. Is it something that happened in your childhood? Is it something that happened a few weeks ago? When did this become a problem? Why is this such a moment? Why did this make me feel?
Why are you responding that way? Why are you responding this way in this situation if you didn't respond that way and the same thing happened last week? Like what is
exactly? Again, so yeah, what made it about her? Or what made it that every single time I get into a predicament like this, I go off? What is it? Where is this emotion coming from? This is what it looks like to start looking at yourself, learning yourself, being better at knowing yourself. This is how we get to these places, because this moment, this storm that has you feeling hopeless, frustrated, whatever it is, it has you in that moment for a reason. There's a thought process that led you to this particular moment, and there is a thought process that's either going to get you out of it, but you have to first identify what it is. I see you touching your lip. What you think about, sis?
I was thinking that by the time you get to inspect, it's really not a storm. It's raining. It's windy, because now it's no longer a hurricane or a torrential situation. Now you're breaking it down into elements, and it's raining. It's windy. It's uncomfortable. These are elements. I don't like it. That is no longer, I am swept away and I am hanging on for dear life and oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like, by the time you get to inspect, it's not a storm, it's a situation.
Yeah. Most certainly. It definitely is. Well,
doesn't mean it went away, and I'm not diminishing its impact or its realness. It doesn't, I'm not saying that the situation has changed your perspective. If you have had the chance to stop and realize and allow and kind of accept and deal with and see, and then now like, hold on. By the time I'm getting to inspecting, I'm like, hold on. Is it me or is it the situation? Let's put me in proximity to the situation.
Exactly.
Context. Like now I'm going, hey, but that is the beginning of the peace.
The peace, the eye of the storm.
The eye of the storm. Because when the back end comes after the peace, you prepare.
Yeah. most certainly, because and that's also figuring out, is it you that's contributing or causing the storm, or if you need to remove yourself from something that causes storms.
Can I put up an umbrella? Maybe I just need an umbrella.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like,
valid.
I see you, but I can stay dry here. I can. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most certainly. So and then lastly, once you identify or inspect, you need to, well, I'm not even going to N. I'm just, this kind of will be like an A or B, but this is B. So first you need to inspect your emotional state and ask questions. Why did that emotion come up based off of this circumstance? And then lastly, in that same inspect, what is the consequence if I stay in this emotional state? What is the consequence if I stay in this emotional state? If you are mad, you alluded to it a while ago. What if this continues? What if this is this now continues? Where if you're angry, if you're that mad and you stay in that emotional state, what's the possible consequence of that? Is it you going off? Is it you hitting her? Is it you hitting him? What is the consequence?
Clearly, in this state that you have now identified, are you functioning as your best self? Are you in a place to even make a good decision? Should you make a decision? Should you just pause? Should you just go, yep, this happened. Hard stop. Yep, I'm gonna stay here for a second because I'm not in the right frame of mind to do, like you said, my consequence. I gotta, hold on, there might be consequences if I say what I'm really thinking. Blurt it out or run. What I'm good for. I'm a good runner. Let me tell you, I got several pair of sneakers.
Good.
Several pair. But
that's good. It's real though.
But running doesn't solve it.
Not at all. All you do is uproot the process, and you're gonna have to start the process over wherever you stop running.
Or you'll find yourself in a storm over and over again.
Yeah, of course, most certainly. You're just taking the storm to a different location. Most certainly. So yeah, what is the consequence of your? It reminds me of, I remember when my oldest son was younger. My wife, I forgot what he did. He had been doing a lot of different mischievous stuff, and I guess my wife got frustrated, and he had done something, and out of her frustration, she gave a sentence. This is what your punishment is, and I'm like, yo, that was a heavy sentence for what he just did, but she did it out of anger. Now, one thing with me, because I'm adamant about our word being received by our children. If it's said, it's done. So I told her, I said, yo, that sentence does not match up, but he got to do the time because you said it, and we will not take back any kind of, we don't sell wolf tickets in this house. If I say you getting a spanking or beating, whatever you want to call it for this particular situation, that's what's going to happen. I'm going to, you're going to get what I said. So with you putting out that sentence, this is what he has to get. And there's no reneging on what it is that you shared. And my wife, she's that one, she'll feel bad about, if she want to take it back, I'm sorry. But that was a twofold lesson.
Going out and coming in? Is that what you're telling me? It was a cut,
exactly.
Cut going out and a cut coming back.
Yeah, so that was a twofold lesson, because she learned that you can't make decisions based off your emotional state. And he learned that mom and dad, they don't play. When they say like this is what it is, that's what's gonna happen. So I need to, if I'm warned prior to, I need to know that my warning is gonna come to pass if I follow through on this. So it worked both ways, because she doesn't respond out of anger to our children, and if he hears us say anything, he knows, nah, I mean, you could plan all you want, you could try to be good, like he taught his siblings, you could try to be good all you want, you're not going to that particular event. Dad and them already said that it's not going to happen. Tila said inadequate thinking. That's correct. So we have to inspect our emotional state. Ask questions. Why did that emotion come up? What is the consequence of if I stay in that emotional state? And now we're about to move to the last one. We're almost there. I'm gonna do this in 30 minutes or less, y'all. The end. The end is never buy in. Never buy in. Never buy into what you ask. What are you talking about, Edward L. Fairley? Never buy into what? Never buy into what your body says. Never buy into what your mind says about you. Never buy into your emotional state. So I am not the body. I am not my mind. I am not my emotion. It's just that I can see all of these aspects about me at this moment. I am spirit that can see all of these aspects about me at this moment. I am not buying into that being who I am. Because if I am this now, I can evolve to something better. And the fact that I can step out of myself, which is all the R.A.I.N is stepping outside of yourself, showing the power of you as a true being that you are, to see who you are from who you are being at that moment or acting like at that moment, so that you can take yourself to who you should be or how you should be and evolve. But never buy into the way or the state of person that you are. This is going back to the whole condemnation. A lot of people say, well, that's just how I am. Oh, really? So how is that working out for you? If that's just how you are, the fact that you have to say that's just how I am goes to show that you see an issue with how you are. No one says, well, that's just how I am if they're getting good results. It's not a thing.
No, it's just that's who I am, not just who I am.
Yeah.
I am what I am, and I'm okay.
Or if you feel like you gotta say, well, I'm just keeping it real. Just keeping it 100. If you can identify that your actions are not getting you the results that you are, you can identify that maybe if I shift my perspective, my way of doing things, it might be more beneficial for me. Nobody's asking you to chuck and jive and tap dance or whatever. We're saying like, yo, maybe your approach is a little rough. Maybe you need to, like, if everybody has a problem with the way that you are, it might be you. It might be you.
Realize.
Exactly. That's what,
Realize.
again, for some reason, this type of environment that I get frustrated. This is why I get frustrated. It seems to be in this type of environment. What is it? What is it? Is it the fact that you're getting mad because he's asking you so many questions because you aren't equipped or prepared mentally for what you brought up? I get that all the time. I get people that get frustrated about me asking questions about something they brought to my attention. So I want to know a little bit more about you and what you brought to my attention. And now that you don't have enough information to respond to the questions that I have, you're mad at me because you didn't do your own homework about what you was supposedly excited about. Mm-hmm. Why are you mad? And why are you frustrated with me? You're mad at me because I'm interested.
Are you, or are you mad at you?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is when we have to inspect. Or how about this? Allow. Because, I mean, when do I not do that? When do I not follow up with the question behind your statement? So you gonna allow me to be me, or you gonna
today? Let's both reign. Let's both reign. So on both sides of this conversation, let's both reign. You realize what you're doing. You allow what you're doing. I allow what I'm doing, and we see what we come up to with the consequences. Because we both gonna reign. How about that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I mean, because you came to me last time I checked. Like I have people that all the time. Like, I just wish I could get a man that just pays me attention and actually listens, and then I start responding. And Michelle said that earlier.
I don't always want that attention.
Like, why you always listen? I'm like, wait, what?
I just said that earlier. I was like, dude, I was just, flapping at the gums, and he was like, why do you say that though? And I was like, because it was filler. It was pure filler speech. Could you just let it be filler? Nope.
But I'll get somebody that says, I wish he would pay attention, or I wish she would pay attention. Then I pay attention, and you mad at me paying attention. Oh, okay.
That was
all right.
Today. Yeah. But also when I'm listening to you, I'm hearing conscious, awake, engaged living, right? But I also thought it was interesting that this is very cyclical, because truthfully, if you go through the R.A.i.N process and you come to the end, you might go, ooh, I acknowledged something new, something different. Like you said, why did that trigger me today? Why do I feel, oh, shoot, this is a pattern. Let me go back and realize, when did the pattern start? Now you're on a whole nother cycle, which may take you to another layer of awareness, which ultimately may take you to healing. But it's not, it may not always be a one track process. And you get to end, you're like, oh, I'm aware, I got it, I'm done. It might just, let me go back to R again, and then come and get more clear and more clear and more clear until you get to the root of it.
Most certainly. And in the end, and this is gonna hurt, but it is what it is. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are. You don't get in life what you want. You get in life what you are.
I'm so happy right now. So happy right now. I cannot always say that. So let me just be very transparent. That is not always been the case. To get what I am has not always been the case. So when you said that and I went, oh, I'm happy. Girl, that was a moment right there. That was honest. And you know that's not always been my truth.
And if you don't like what you're getting in life right now and you want better, you got to become the better that gets you the better that you're looking for. You can want all of these great things, but in the end, it's all based off of what's going on in here, who you are in here, that is going to dictate what you experience externally.
And don't grapple to hold on to things that you think are making you what you want to be, because at the end of the day, you can't sustain holding on. You have to be. You can't grab and take and kind of try to anchor yourself on something and think that you become what you're anchored to. You are who you are.
Most certainly. And if you don't like who you are, you might need to find someone that has the fruit of what you would like to have, and don't study the fruit and try to start acquiring the fruit. Study their characteristics, their moral values, their being, who they are. Study that so that you can start attracting those types of characteristics or creating those types of, what's the word I'm looking for, habits, because it's their thinking and their habits that causes them to get the fruit that they get. Your thinking and your habits are what causes you to have the actual experiences that you have. And if you don't start changing your thinking and your habits, all you're doing is just changing the scenery or the name of the guy or the girl that you're dealing with, and wondering why you can't get what it is that you
same guy or girl in a different package.
Most certainly. Most certainly.
But you're right that it's definitely something that will repeat itself if you don't deal with it.
You got to. And this is really, really difficult, unfortunately. And you know, I don't do gender, but it's taught to men to not acknowledge your feelings or to push your feelings aside. Man, stop crying, just get up, or man up. That's a phrase. Man up.
Because of that, though, women are taught to rely on their emotions as truth. And sometimes they're not. Because I feel some kind of way. I need to say it. I'm not sure I need to say everything I feel.
Everyone in the world has emotions, and every person should acknowledge the emotion that they have. That is a trigger to let you know where you are in your life. That should not be your decision-making a gauge. It should be a gauge nonetheless. It should say, okay, all right, so this is where I'm at. And then you should shift from where you feel to understanding where it came from. So that's going from heart to head to make sense of it. And then from your head, determining how you should navigate by way of what your heart told you about the circumstance of the situation. Because you can feel some type of way and it be way off base from
the root of it might be the truth, but to your point, the R.A.i.N, like when you get to N and you're still on the emotional tip, have you really made a good decision?
Not to mention your perspective. Look how quickly me and my daughter shifted from her discomfort about using to now how I'm pretty sure she's going to use that as a norm and aspire to have it. It went from an uncomfortable, unnatural, or bad thing. Oh, so you're using me. And she's like, and I'm like, you're using me. She's like, yeah. And I said, good job. Great. I'm proud of you. You should be using people because the only way you can use someone is if they're useful. Paradigm shift in thinking. Now she's not feeling bad about wanting something from somebody or getting something from someone.
Like realizing that something hurts and instead of recoiling, finding out the source of the pain, right? Like, I don't like this situation. And my first reaction being, I got to run or I got to tune it out or I don't want to deal with it instead of, well, why is it hurting?
That's good. That's good. That's really good. Ms. Lisa said, realize and allow yourself to pause and inspect the situation so that quick decisions are not based off of your emotions so you can make clear and better decisions when faced with a storm and not suffer unwanted consequences. That's really, really good. Most certainly. And not just that, to better understand yourself. Like, I don't think you all understand the power of knowing thyself.
It is a superpower. It is a superpower.
Like, so when you know yourself, especially when you know your purpose, I get offered so many opportunities that are, when I allow myself to realize and see and whatever, inspect the situation, they're great opportunities. But because I know my purpose and who I am, they're not great opportunities for me. So I can't afford to share my focus. I can't afford to move my focus from my vision. In the Greek, it might even be better said this way. In the Greek, the word die, D-I, is exactly the same as in the American English, B-I for buy, two. It means two, okay? So if I have two visions, i.e. you are in a relationship and you all have two visions in one relationships, that is in the Greek, division, which is division. D-I-V-I-S-I-O-N, division. So division is division, and it never works out if you have division. So if I'm being offered so many things, and this is what gets y'all, this is why y'all got with the whole inboxes about these, if you give me your Cash App, you'll get a such and such amount of money. If you give me this, whatever, give me your information. Did you get your new grant? Did you get your stimulus check back or whatever? Because you don't have a plan, because you don't have a purpose, you haven't identified it yet. These things, they seem like something of value to you. They seem like things that could help you, and they just take you off course from what you really are supposed to be focusing on. When you realize your true value and your true focus, then you will be steadfast on the mission at hand, and nothing else really matters. It's easy to say no. It's easy to block. It's easy to look at opportunities that seem great and be like, nah. Like I got invited to where I had a ability to make $50,000 or something a couple weeks ago. It would have been great, but it didn't. The focus and stuff that I would have had to do, it wasn't worth me moving from the focus of what my vision is. It doesn't make sense. But when I finish what my vision is, that's going to make dollars. That $50,000 is chump change in the grand scheme of once my vision is complete, once my vision comes to pass, and that's just going to slow me down. And it's something intentionally trying to knock me off course from what it is that I'm supposed to be working on.
Intentionally trying to get you to take your seed out of the ground and go put it in new dirt.
Yeah, exactly.
Get to grow because you keep going, ooh, maybe that dirt's better. Ooh, maybe that dirt's better. And you keep digging up the little seed and you keep putting it somewhere else and then wonder why you got no fruit. Because you're trying to but that's squandering our time. That's squandering our focus. That's looking like, ooh, maybe I should do this or that and the other, and then wondering, where's my fruit? How am I reaping the benefits? Like when I'm sitting here, like I was telling you earlier in the chaotic or overwhelming or just multiple activities going on at the same time, and I'm sitting here and grateful, it's because I am reaping the benefit of years of work before. I am living today in the work I did yesterday. Exactly. And so I'm working now for tomorrow because I got to maintain my momentum. But this spot is based on the work I did years ago.
Exactly. Most certainly. So again, never buy in. Understand, like, okay, this is my emotional state. This is my thought process. This is my philosophy. Yeah, it may very well be right now. But the fact that you can see it is evidence that you are not it. Because those who are something, they cannot see it. People that are insane, they cannot see how crazy they are. The fact that you can see it goes to show how evolved and how much you are more than what you're feeling, thinking, and
your consciousness.
Your conscious. Yeah, basically. So you're more than that. You can evolve to more than that if you put in the work. But what I'm finding more and more, and people are trying to get just this shortcut, it doesn't work. The process is the process. Congratulations, Miss Lisa. She just got her braces off, and she's been smiling ever since. But she went through the process for that smile. So I can assure you, if you stick to it, you stay focused, be honest with your storm and the rain that you go through. I can assure you, it will make storms easier to go through, and you will definitely see and appreciate the rainbow at the end. You have any closing remarks? I'm pretty much done.
I like the rainbow connotation because it was a promise, a visible promise, right? And a reminder of that it's never intended to take you out. It's only really there to teach. And when you can step back and be awoke enough to be conscious, you won't miss the rainbow. Rainbows happen all the time. But how many of us can go by and miss the whole thing and see it on the picture somewhere and you're like, I was right there and you didn't look up.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
You did not look
good. That's so good.
Up. In the midst of your storm, periodically, look up.
That's good. And it's funny because I was talking to Tila. We have a lot of conversations, so I love talking to her. And this process allows for, oftentimes when you talk to people that you might see on TV or what have you, you really don't know them, and you typically think that you do. With what I'm teaching, I'm technically teaching you all me, to where I was telling Tila, like, where we are, if you've been in the journey from beginning to the end, if someone was to ever say something about me out of context, there's so many people that would offend me, not even realizing, like, that's not what he meant. they going in like that's not where it came from. If you took the time to know me, like, and first of all, I don't need it, but I appreciate your passion about me, and knowing me for who I am and where I'm coming from. That's all from the relationship that we've grown to have at this very moment. So I was sharing that this is basically when people think that I am, like you say, I have no emotion, or like I may very well be upset or mad or whatever or happy, but I'm processing why that is. Where did that come from?
Are you raining all the time? It's always raining.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'm Rain Man. I'm Rain Man.
You Rain Man. I got you, Rain Man. All right, I see you.
So I'm processing. What am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling that way? Where did that come from? Is that okay? Should I even be feeling this way? Am I taking this out of context? So, and it allows for me to, for one, be present, and two, not get all caught up in something that my mind is trying to get me to think or feel. Because I can tell you right now, matter of fact, I'm gonna show you right now. So me and my sister, we were talking, and I forgot, you remember the movie Snow White. I forgot all of the names of the doors, right? So my sister, she used to love Snow White and the doors, and all of a sudden we got caught up in like lucky numbers, rabbit's foots, and I don't even know how we got caught up in that conversation. So we started talking about like how the mind is and how it can be influenced by things, and then I was like, well, you know, I'm gonna do a trick on you, and just like I'm about to do a quote unquote trick on you all. So I want you all to think of the first number that comes to your head. Don't tell me. Write it down. First number that comes to your head. Write it down. Did you do it yet?
I did.
You did it already? All right. So I'm gonna write this number down. And 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna get this number right. All right, so I wrote the number down. I'm putting it up on the screen. Was that your number? 7 is what I wrote. I wrote a number 7. Okay. Was that your number? Mm-hmm. Anybody that's in the chat, was your number 7? Did you have a 7?
Oh, 7? I got you. Good job. Touche. I got you though. Good job. Love it. I see you.
Anybody put 7?
Mm-hmm. So
let's discuss. Let's discuss why the number 7 was your number. It's because I actually anchored that in your thought. The way that I anchored that in your thought is by sharing a story about me and my sister and us talking about Snow White. and with us talking about Snow White, well, that's good. That means you're an independent thinker. That's great, and my anchor didn't work. But 9 times out of 10, you would have chosen 7 if you were listening to the conversation. But the conversation that I had about my sister and her and her being us talking about Snow White, and some doors, and I couldn't remember the actual name of the doors. That actually triggered a thought of you talking about 7, if you're familiar with Snow White and the 7 doors. Then I followed it by then we started talking about lucky numbers. If you are familiar with lucky numbers, you're gonna automatically think about 7 as well, which in turn, in your subconscious, anchored a thought of number 7 without me saying 7, so that when I asked you to pick a number, I should have said pick the number from 1 through 10. If I said 1 through 10, you would have more than likely chose the number 7. So for those who said no, let me know if you chose a higher number than 10. But if I would have said pick a number from 1 through 10, it would have been highly likely that you would have chosen 7. So because I have anchored that into your thought, and we are being anchored all the time with thoughts, feelings, and just state of mind, cultural things, which is why I don't watch TV, because even when you know these things are happening, it's hard for you to not fall into the trap of being suggested a thought or indirectly suggested a feeling or all of these things, to where when these things are triggering my emotions or my feelings and my thoughts, I immediately I grab a hold of them, say, where did that come from? Is that accurate? Does that align with the circumstance of the situation? And then from there, I move forward. And that's what I'm trying to get us to do. Before we jump off the deep end, before we conclude that life is terrible, before we feel that the world is coming to the end. Wonderful. Tila said she picked 5. Great. So before you come to these places, we need to definitely
Tila is a free thinker. Amen, Tila.
Oh yeah, excellent.
Go ahead, girl.
Yeah. So with that being said, I just want us to be mindful. That's probably the best way that I can conclude this show. Be mindful. Be in the moment. Be in the now. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with the situation, the circumstance, and the people that you're dealing with, even if you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom will take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Your children will take advantage of you.
Yeah.
Call it what it is.
Yeah.
Acknowledge it and handle it based off of what it is. Not what you wanted to be, not what it was. Respond to it according to what it is and who you are at the moment of you responding to what it is. And that's all I got for y'all. I love y'all. Appreciate your minds and time. Until we meet again, y'all be safe. Peace.